Cibola Burn. This is the fourth book in the Expanse series. It is 581 pages long with 57 chapters. A quick summary would be squatters versus corporation on a resource-rich planet. So within the Expanse universe, the ring gates have opened. And while we don't fully understand how they work or what they do, or we know what they do. They go through and you can go into the slow zone and then from there to ring gates to other systems. The rules of physics don't always apply in the slow zone, but yeah, either way, you can get to new systems by going through the ring gates. And this follows some refugees who were the first to make it through the ring gates, and they ended up on this planet. So I've been enjoying this series so far, and I really liked, so far the first book was my favorite. I kept wanting to go back and forth between Holden and Miller and find out what happened next. I really liked Bobby as an addition to the character series. That was really good, but really Bobby's only kind of teased in this book, so that was kind of a bummer for me. But this has a new shifting, like the alliances are shifting, and now that there's tons of more solar systems with possibly livable planets, the alliances are changing and stuff. So you've got OPA and the United Nations, Earth, and the Belt teaming up and kind of sending an emissary, in that being the Reincarnate, the main character's ship. Again, these were refugees from Ganymede, the disasters that happened in the previous books. And turns out there's a bunch of artifacts on this planet from the creators of the proto-molecule. So this kind of been the central theme of the entire series, has been this, artifact, this alien technology that gets discovered and then starts like changing everything. So I liked that they brought back former characters. Havelock, he kind of fits into place wherever he's needed. He's part of the security forces that have the official charter to, colonize that world. And then Basie, I don't know how to say his name, but he'll do anything to keep his family safe. He left behind a child while fleeing the destruction at Ganymede, and so he kind of feels that and is pushing back against the security forces that are about to show up. And so that sets up the conflict for the whole book, is that there's the locals and there's the newcomers, and they're constantly battling. And then of course you've got the main characters who show up and they kind of intervene and are kind of like the third group involved in this. And then of course you have the proto-molecule, which is like the fourth group, and it's just one big mess on this planet. So you've got Naomi, who hasn't visited a planet with gravity, and Alex, who really doesn't visit planets much and did Mars, which is I think a third of Earth's gravity. So that's a challenge as well. You've got the mimic lizards that live on the planet, which was a really cool addition, by the way. So there's like this local biosphere, right? There's animals that live there, and they're nothing like the Earth biome. So that was really cool. Of course, there's the bickering, the discussion between the three groups. There's the explosion at the landing pad, which kicks off the whole book. And they're constantly going back to that original decision. So I liked that it was a Wild West frontier town. I liked that the proto-molecule was involved. I kind of was unsure how that was going to go, but I did like that part of the story. I do hope that the proto-molecule is put to rest. I know it's been a central theme to the series, but I'm hoping this book is the end of it and that it picks up a new thread. I think it's hilarious that 75% of the problems could have been solved if Holden, the main character, had just listened to the voice in his head being Miller and gone and done the thing at the end. Like, if he had done that earlier, most of the problems would have gone away. I also like that this is a near future, and kind of, I don't want to say the technology is advancing, but like when we started, it was like the medical technology was very basic, whereas now like they can regrow hands and stuff. It was convenient for one of the main characters, but also like it's cool that this series goes on. It's not just stagnant, like here's the technology, this is what you get. It's kind of growing and evolving. So I did like that. Also that there was a catastrophe and, everything that can go wrong will. That's been kind of a theme in that the main characters get themselves in a situation, things get worse, they get a break, things get worse, and just everything falls apart. So lots of fun. And some things that I didn't like though, the science table was like the nanobots, a cliche kind of thing. It makes water, it analyzes things, it can solve, acetylene torch. It just has everything you need, which makes sense. It's, their tool for, analyzing the world, but still it just seemed like the table had just everything they needed forever and always. So that was kind of funny. And there was a lot of build up in this story, and the action there were different action scenes, but to me, it was a lot of build up towards the end. And that's good, but I felt like this was kind of like a scene setting book, kind of laying the groundwork for a lot of different future books, in that this was the first colony planet that they visited. So there were two quotes that I liked. The first one being, it's from one of the colonists. She's the scientist with the science table. Once is never, twice is always. That really stood out to me, in that there's a big difference between happening once and happening twice. The pattern, right? The fool me once, fool me twice kind of thing. So that was really cool. And that was a good theme in this. There was another one. The usual state of nature is recovering from the last disaster. I believe that was the same person being Elvie, the scientist. And it makes a lot of sense, right? You just went through a disaster, and you apply whatever you use to make it through that disaster to all future situations and scenarios. So sprinkled in a little bit of human nature in with all the disasters, and this was a decent book. Not my favorite of the series, but the series has really exciting characters that come back and recur, so that was cool. But I'm really looking forward to seeing more Bobby in future books. So yeah, this is a great series. It's been a lot of fun sci-fi series. So check it out, enjoy it, and buy your books.